At the end of the second set, I had gone back to serve. And, they heckled throughout the entire game. That's just a part of sports. You get used to playing through extreme environments like that. And very distinctly, though, I heard a very strong and negative racial slur. And we played our third set on the opposite side of the net from them. And in the fourth set, when we went back to that side, it was almost as though, the atmosphere of the student section had changed. And even, my teammates who were on the bench, my black teammates who were on the bench who don't play, they were being called out, pointed at. It was really confusing as to why. And that's when the racial slurs and heckling, it just grew more extreme, more intense. So.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. The race hustle is the gift that keeps on giving, because once you have one alleged racist incident, everybody hops on board to try to claim victimhood status and to woke virtue signal to benefit their careers off of the alleged racial incident. Okay, and this is a continuation of the BYU story in which allegedly some people in the student section yelled the N-word at a Duke female volleyball player. Okay, I believe her name is Rachel Richardson. Now, there's no evidence whatsoever to back up her claims at all. The audio/video evidence suggests that nobody said that. Witness testimony suggests that nobody said that. It's only her word versus all the other evidence that goes directly against her word. How, despite all that, the mainstream liberal media has ran with this headline that BYU is some type of racist school. Later on, they've had headlines that come out to suggest that BYU is some type of homophobic school as well, too. This is what happens to Christian schools and universities, okay? This type of attacks that they face for, trying to be Christian. But with that being said, we got to talk about a race hustler, okay, that is really taking this BYU race hustle to the extreme, okay? She's milking everything she can out of this. And it's not the person that is alleging racism here. It is actually the basketball coach of South Carolina's women's basketball team, Miss Dawn Staley, who decided to cancel their women's basketball game against BYU because allegedly she's afraid that her players may be subjected to racial slurs. And she claims that she vetted this whole thing, right? She vetted the whole situation before coming to this decision. And I want to talk about that. But before I get into that, I just want to let you guys know, if you like my channel, you support my channel, you can check out my new merch, my donkeypox shirts, the disease that's affecting America, or my hashtag no days off / hard work patriotic t-shirts, or my MAGA Hub shirt. There are plenty of cool merch at my website for you guys to check out, gforemanbcp.com. Get 20% off using discount code gforemanbcp. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll the clip of Miss Dawn Staley telling us why she decided to cancel the South Carolina women's basketball game versus BYU. Take a look.
Well, it wasn't a knee-jerk reaction, obviously, because I don't knee-jerk anything. I vetted it. I talked to various people that was a part of the situation. And I just felt like, I slept on it a few nights, and I woke up with the same just gut feeling that I should not put our players in that situation. I did not discuss it with our players. I did tell them, was it yesterday? Yeah, Friday, that is going to be happening, and they nodded in affirmation. So, and I didn't do it to condemn BYU. I did not do that. This was a selfish decision, and I was only thinking about South Carolina women's basketball, and I wanted to handle it on my own, which is not hopefully involve anybody else that have to deal with it, meaning our administrators, although Coach Tanner was really good about supporting it. I didn't want to bring up Rachel as well because I didn't want her to relive it. I just wanted to make sure that our players didn't have to endure that, and because I don't have the words. If something were to happen in that manner, I don't have the words to comfort them. So I'd rather Just not put ourselves in that situation.
Wow, there's so many things wrong with this, okay? There's so many things wrong with this. But first, before I get into this, I want to play a clip here to let you guys know the ideology of this coach, okay? She is definitely woke.
I looked and saw what the men's coach was making, right, at South Carolina. I looked at what I was making, and then he made more than me in the raises. It wasn't a salary, but he made more in the salary, but it was the raises. Our success was not the same. Over 9 years, he went to the Final Four once, and I was like, there is something seriously wrong here. Like, seriously.
Yeah, so as you can see there, she is also buying into the myth that there's some type of gender wage gap, especially when it comes to her job, what she gets paid versus the men's basketball coach at South Carolina, because she says, well, we won more championships, we're more successful. So I don't know why my salary or my raises aren't better or equal to his. And I'm like, well, if you look at the amount of money that the men's basketball team brings in, they have about a net profit of $2.5 million versus the fact that women are losing money, about $4.5 million per year, right? They're actually the most unprofitable women's sport at South Carolina University. That tells you everything you need to know about why the men's coach is getting paid more than you. Is because they bring in more money. In fact, they're probably subsidizing the women's basketball team. If not the men's basketball team, definitely the USC men's football team is subsidizing the women's basketball team, right? But anyways, this video is not about the gender wage gap. I just want to show you guys that clip so you guys get an understanding of this coach's ideology, okay? Because she's acting like she's doing this for her team when she's really doing it for herself. And if you listen to what she's saying, she's actually really just telling you I'm doing it by myself. It's selfish. It was a selfish decision, according to her. Yeah, because it was about you. It's about you trying to woke virtue signal to increase and to promote your own public profile off of something that was a hoax. Okay? She claims she vetted it. What do you mean by vetting? Watching CNN and Woke Center is not vetting, okay? Because they didn't vet it. Vetting is actually listening to the audio and video evidence, reading about the witness testimony, and then coming to a conclusion about how likely is it that what this woman said actually happened. Because based off the evidence in the witness testimony, it's not likely at all that it actually happened. She probably misheard. So if you vetted it so much, you would know those things, and you would think that, hey, you know what? I'm not going to cancel a game. I'm not going to continue to smear BYU of being racist with no evidence, right? Because that's what this is. You canceling the game saying that, hey, we don't want to play against BYU because we're afraid that our players might get called racial slurs is just another attack on BYU as a racist university. That's what it is. And you're doing that with no evidence whatsoever. On top of that, what type of message does this send, guys? What type of message does this send to these young women athletes? If you face any type of adversity, and in this case, they're not even facing adversity because they weren't the ones that were allegedly called the N-word. But hey, if you go into a situation where you face some type of adversity, where you might face some type of adversity, a hostile environment, you just quit, right? You just quit. You don't play. You don't show up at all. Is that the lesson that you're trying to teach here as a coach, right? Because that's what it seems like. Imagine if Jackie Robinson quit, right? If Jackie Robinson said, I'm not going to play. I don't want to play, right? Too many people calling me the N-word, right? Or, you know, any player that played during the, 1950s, 1960s, and some of these professional and college game athletics that faced the color barrier, right? Actually had real systemic racial discrimination against them. Imagine if they say, I'm going to quit because I was called the N-word, which I'm pretty sure a lot of them were. Imagine if they quit because of that, right? We wouldn't have what we have today, right? But unlike back then, we're not teaching kids today to be tough. We're not teaching them how to overcome adversity. We're teaching them how to be soft. We're teaching them how to be crybabies. We're teaching them how to be social justice warriors. Because the attitude of a coach that's actually concerned about the personal growth of her players, making them tough, okay, making them ready for the real world, especially if you think that they're going to experience all this type of racism. And because they're black women, they're going to experience sexism too, according to the left, right? You would think you want to make them tough. What better way to make them tough than to say, hey, We're going to go into BYU. We're going to kick their ass. Right? What better way? That's what you should be saying. That's what a coach who's trying to teach their players adversity and to try to build up their character would be saying. Oh, this school's racist? What better way to teach them than to go in there and beat them? Right? Even though they're not racist, even though there's no evidence to support that claim. But I'm just saying, if you do believe that, if you really believe that, is the lesson here that, hey, you know, if you face some type of racism or adversity, then you just quit. You become a quitter. And you boo-hoo and you whine about it to the media. Is that the lesson? Is that what you're teaching these young women? Because that's what it sounds like this woman is teaching her players. That's what it sounds like. Which is a shame. It really is. It's a shame that these players are not going to be able to play this game because of a hoax. Because their coach has an ego problem and she's on an ego trip trying to promote her own public profile. Because she wants to say, hey, look at me. I'm woke. Right? Look at me. I'm virtue signaling. I just canceled the game versus BYU. Which could prompt other teams, other universities to cancel games against BYU as well too. Because you know how it goes. This is a domino effect. The race hustle is a domino. Once one falls, everybody else falls in line. We saw it with George Floyd, right? That's how we got to this point where this guy became basically a god. It's because of this right here. One person does something like this, the next person do it. Next thing you know, it's a whole trend. BYU canceled. Nobody plays games against BYU because they're racist. Despite the fact that, again, this is most likely a hoax. That she probably heard something else. She didn't hear the N-word. And this is all for nothing. In today's society, the sad part is that this type of softness pays. Being tough, you know, overcoming this type of stuff, you know, the things that we used to need to survive, that's not rewarded anymore, right? That's not rewarded anymore. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.